Today on Ag Etc., we start with the soybean research update from Ed Anderson with the North Central Soybean Research Program. Next, Leah Wilkinson, Vice President of Public Policy and Education for the American Feed Industry Association, is talking about the current good manufacturing practices and what to expect before you are inspected. Then we end with exciting news about Senate Bill 32 from Terry Holdren, who's with Kansas Farm Bureau. Stay with us.
Closed captioning brought to you by Ag Promo Source. Together we grow. Learn more at agpromosource.com.
This segment brought to you by Kansas Regenerative Medicine. Your stem cells, your health, your life.
Well, thank you for the opportunity. My name is Ed Anderson, and I'm the Executive Director for the North Central Soybean Research Program. So we're a large 12-state collaboration, farmer board, farmer-led, checkoff dollars supported. So Kansas and the other member states make their contributions annually to the North Central region. And then we work across state lines with researchers at various institutions, universities like Kansas State, and the farmers try and consider various proposals that come in and identify the best research that's being proposed by the best researchers. They are required to collaborate and work together, these researchers, so it really builds that complementarity across states, where one university may have a really good agronomist and another university may have a really good breeder, and we bring them together and we let them work on things that are important to soybean farmers. So it's a tremendous program. It's been around for about 26, 27 years now. Kansas has been a member for a very long time. They contribute a good amount of funding support. The farmers in Kansas agree that this is a good way to do research. We communicate that research through various formats and forums. A lot of field days, websites, podcasts, videos, publications, brochures, management guides, trying very hard to get all the information out to farmers in a timely manner, so that they can put this research to use in their operations and help them be more profitable and more productive and more sustainable and drive the industry forward. Some of this research is in collaboration with individual states. Right now, the soybean gall midge is an insect problem that's on the rise, especially in Kansas, Nebraska, South Dakota, Iowa. States have come together to work on this project. I anticipate we'll probably see a proposal to the North Central region in the next year or two to address gall midge, because I think it's an emerging insect pest that could be a problem. Other agronomic production practices, research into production practices. With the technologies of digital agriculture and the computational capabilities that are improving all the time, we have lots and lots of data, and now we have increasing capabilities to analyze that data and make use of that data, turn that data into information that farmers can benefit from and utilize for their production practices. I would encourage anyone who's interested in the research that the North Central region is undertaking and communicating. The first thing to do would be to go to our website, and that's www.soybeanresearchinfo.com. And that's what we call our Soybean Research and Information Initiative website. We try and host all the current research and all the management guides and all the publications that researchers are putting together. On that website, you'll find my contact information if anyone ever wants to contact me, and farmer information if you're interested in contacting your farmer representatives from Kansas and the other states. It's a good source of information as a starting point.
Sure Crop Fertilizers was started by my father, Don Sherman, and my mother, Shirley Sherman. Family business is started in the 80s. We predominantly focus on plant nutrients and what we can do to give growers better responses with the fertilizer dollars that they do, and what we can do to make those things work better for the grower. We're based out of Seneca, Kansas. We work with growers in their soil analysis to figure out what they need, and then we can put those in a blend that gives them the best results, and so that we can deliver that direct to their farm so that they have those nutrients where they need them, when they need them, and so that they can apply them in a manner that's very efficient to them and works well on their planting systems and what they're doing. Sure Crop Fertilizers has been around for a long time. We always say we're big enough to take care of everything you need, but we're small enough to do it quickly. You can get a hold of us at 1-800-635-4743. Our website is surecropfertilizers.com, and you can always email me at Corey@surecropfertilizers.com, and with any questions you have, we'll be glad to answer and work with you.
Ag Promo Source is a unique group of marketing specialists with one mission: help your ag business grow. Each affiliate has their own area of expertise, and they work together to bring you advice, products, and services. To get started, visit agpromosource.com. Ag Promo Source. Together we grow.
This segment brought to you by Kansas Wheat. Learn more at rediscoverwheat.org.
We, from a animal food industry perspective, asked for a phase-in of these regulations because it was such a change to our industry. And the first phase of that was the current good manufacturing inspections. So last year became the first time where all three sizes of facilities, so large facilities, so those facilities that have more than 500 employees across all of your entire business, not just your feed business, but it can include any other portions of your business. The small facilities, which is those less than 500 employees, but you sell more than $2.5 million worth of animal food. And then the very small, which is everything less than $2.5 million of animal food sales. So for the first time, everybody has to be in compliance with the current good manufacturing practice and regulations. FDA has been doing inspections under the current good manufacturing practice regulations since February of 2017. We, from a trade association perspective, have been trying to glean as much information as we can out of those inspections, and one of the things that we've been doing is a Freedom of Information Act request. So you can request of FDA through the Freedom of Information results of inspections. So where have they done inspections? What type of facilities? What were the results of those inspections? And you can get information back from FDA to that regard. So we've been doing that, and we've been gathering that information now since February of 2017, and the last iteration that we got took us through the beginning of October, so through the last fiscal year. And there had been 562 CGMP inspections that were held across the United States. So this is just a map that we've put together of those locations. And if you remember that initial map that I put up of where our feed facilities and pet food facilities are, it's pretty much mirrors where those two maps would just correlate perfectly together, which is what we wanted to see. We did not want to see the inspections isolated in one specific area with one specific FDA district office, or targeted to, livestock feed more than pet food, or vice versa. We wanted to see product diversity as well as geographic diversity, and so far that's coming through in the results that we've seen from the CGMP inspections. So as I said, there had been about 562 inspections, and these are inspections that have been classified. So there's, government speak. You can have had an inspection, but it maybe hasn't been reported out yet because it hasn't been closed or finalized, and that's what when they classify it. So that's the only time we're getting that information. But the inspections are occurring from a federal inspector side and a state inspector side. So there are many states that have contracts with FDA to do the inspections for animal food facilities, and we're seeing them do that. Of those 562 facilities, they've been in 41 states. So they've been in Hawaii and Puerto Rico as well. And they've issued 41 483s. So the Form 483 is the Notice of Inspection Findings. And so if they find something that they want to note or call you out on, they put it on the 483 form. So there have been 41 issued out of those 562.
KFRM is one of the largest farm radio stations in the nation, dedicated to informing and entertaining rural listeners from northern Oklahoma to southwestern Nebraska. You can catch KFRM in many ways. Of course, 550 on the AM dial, streaming at kfrm.com, or on your smartphone by going to the TuneIn Radio app, or on Ag AM in Kansas on Tuesdays and Facebook every day of the week. KFRM, tune us in. You'll be glad you did.
The new Better Horses Network is worldwide. Presented by Lucas Oil. Featuring worldwide radio and TV with iconic hosts like Al Dunning, Sharon Camarillo, Ernie Rodina, Lindy Birch, and Craig Cameron. With American Cowboy, Horse and Rider, Brushy Creek, Cavenders, and Ride TV. Worldwide radio and TV. The all-new Better Horses Network.
Valley Vet Supply is devoted to providing information and professional quality products at reasonable prices.
Valley Vet Supply.
This segment brought to you by Sure Crop, liquid crop nutrition delivered right to your farm.
So this slide summarizes what we've heard from and what we've gleaned from that FOIA information, as well as what we've heard from our members. So when they're coming into your facility, they're in there for, a day, some of them 4 hours, some of them, a day and a half. So about an average of a day. Again, it's federal and state inspectors. They're going to do a thorough walkthrough of your plant. They're looking, and one of the main things that they've been citing is pest control. So they're looking at cleanliness of the facility, both inside and out, and documenting any pest activity that they see, spillage, piling. There's been another citation for, having in your warehouse, having your pallets too close to the wall, move them 18 inches away, those kind of things. So I'll talk a little bit more about pest control in a minute. Unlabeled containers and trash cans is another citation that's been there. They are asking to see some documentation. So one of the quirks of the regulations for the current good manufacturing practices is they never required record keeping, except for your training. Okay, so you're not required to keep records for your CGMPs to prove your pest control program, or if you have, mycotoxins, any things like that you're doing testing like that as part of your CGMPs. You don't have to keep records for it. Most likely you're going to keep records for that, right? Because if you don't do it, you can't prove that you've done it to them. So they can't necessarily ask you to see those records, but they are asking to see the ones that they can. So the qualified individual training. So everyone in your facility that deals with feed safety or hygiene needs to be trained as a qualified individual. AFIA has put together a video for our members that helps you do that, the documentation you need to prove that, and they are asking to see that information. They have been asking about your preventive controls qualified individual training, which gets at your animal food safety plan and the preventive control side. So when they were in there doing CGMP inspections, they were asking about other portions of the rule, even though they weren't there doing that inspection. They've been going, like I said, to all different types of facilities, and they have gone to some retail commodity blenders, which is one type of facility that they hadn't, or we weren't aware that they had ever visited in the past. So if you are one of those, or folks in that industry, they are doing inspections there. And the other thing is they're asking for records that they don't necessarily have the authority to see. And we've gone back and forth with the agency, and we've put out information to our members on how do you deal with those questions when they come in. So they've asked to see your recipes, or they've asked volume of product that you produce in the mill. One of the other ones they've asked about is complaint files. So they come in and they ask, can I see your complaint files? And they have no authority to see that if you are not manufacturing a medicated feed. If you're manufacturing a medicated feed, then they have the ability to see that for the medicated article itself. But if you're not manufacturing medicated feed, there is no authority under the CGMPs or FSMA for them to see your complaint files. But that's part of their standard operating procedure as inspectors, to come in and ask for that information. It helps, they say it helps give them the lay of the land in your facility, what issues you might be having, areas that they would want to look into further while they're there. But make sure your people are familiar with the rule, what your requirements are, what they have authority to see. I mean, that's the best way to prepare. And then tell your story. You know, our industry has been producing safe feed and pet food and ingredients for years. We just maybe haven't called them current good manufacturing practices, or maybe wasn't in the FSMA language of a food safety plan. But you guys have been doing it. Just be prepared to tell your story and show off your facility.
Kansas Farm Bureau, the voice of agriculture, represents grassroots agriculture. The state's largest and most powerful farm organization stands up for its members through leadership development, agriculture education, legal defense, environmental advocacy, farm safety, and risk management. Members also enjoy money-saving benefits. To join our organization today or to learn more, go to www.kfb.org or find us on Facebook and Twitter.
Next time you see a beautiful field of corn, reach out and thank the farmers who work tirelessly to raise corn for livestock feed, renewable fuels, and exports to feed a growing world population. The farmers on the Kansas Corn Commission work for Kansas Corn with grower-funded checkoff dollars that support foreign and domestic market development, research, promotion, and education to expand opportunities for Kansas farmers. To learn more, visit kscorn.com.
I had this horse. It was a good horse, except when the wind was blowing above 30 miles an hour. The wind was blowing about 35, 40, and I saddled him up, rode him out to the end of the lane, and I thought, well, he's doing pretty good. And about 6 jumps later, I was laying on the ground and thinking, boy, my shoulders sure hurt. I kept waiting, and it didn't get better, and so I went to orthopedic surgeon, and that showed that I had torn rotator cuff. And said, well, we'll have to do surgery. I thought, I farm and ranch by myself. This is not going to work out very well. I'd been sleeping in my recliner for about 2.5 years because it hurt too much to sleep in bed on my side. I'd heard about Kansas Regenerative Medicine Center on the radio. Gotten down there at 8 o'clock in the morning, and by 11:30 the procedure was all over. They just took some fat out of my side here and spun that down for about 45 minutes and then injected it in my shoulders, and I was on my way. It's something you don't hear about, but I thought it was worth a try, and I'm really pleased. It's really worked out well for me.
This segment brought to you by Kansas Corn. Learn more at kscorn.com.
So a little bit on the pest control side, because this is what we're finding the bulk of the 483s has come in on. They've seen spilled feed, and it's been everything from a few pellets outside of a package to feed piled up in corners several inches deep. So it's various amounts inside and out, and they cite that as a potential, obviously, food source for the pests. So clean it up is their response. They've seen bird droppings, rodents, both live and dead, bird nests. They've seen cats. They've seen, obviously, the products from those cats, and cockroaches. We asked the agency, so how many cockroaches are too many? Well, we'll know it when we see it. It's really hard to pinpoint, but this has been a big focal point for them as they've gone through and done these CGMPs. And it doesn't matter if it's a federal inspector or a state inspector. Pest control has been one of their main findings. Some of the other smaller areas, equipment. So one of the CGMPs is that the equipment that's installed must be allowed to be cleaned. So it's got to be cleanable. So there have been citations for that. Your failure to identify toxic chemicals. So have them identified, have them separate within the facility. Going along with the equipment being able to be cleaned, your food contact surfaces need to be made from proper materials and then maintained as such. So one of the things is shatterproof light bulbs. So there have been unprotected, non-shatterproof light bulbs that have been cited, and then a roof leak was another example that was there. Then just the general failure to maintain your plant in a clean manner to prevent contamination. And then improper storage of utensils and equipment. Shovels stored outside in a wheelbarrow that still had some feed or corn in it. Just things like that have been cited in the 483s. So that's kind of the learnings from the CGMP inspections, right? So those are ongoing. They're going to continue, but they're most likely going to start being paired with the next round of inspections. And again, that's going to be phased in type of this for the size of your facility. So just to recap, any size facility can receive a CGMP inspection.
Kim Mannering with Hardy Insurance. Today we will talk about grain bin safety. And did you know that February 17th through the 23rd is Grain Bin Safety Week? Have you thought, what do you do to keep your employees safe?
As fourth-generation farmers themselves, Heinen Brothers Ag Service understands the risk and rewards of farming. So when it comes to quality aerial and ground application, fertilizer, ag chemicals, and anhydrous ammonia, call Heinen Brothers Ag today, 800-760-4964.
I'm Sarah, and this is my husband, Travis. We both grew up working on family ranches, me in Northern California and Travis in Kansas. We met in college, got married, and took corporate jobs in the beef industry. But soon we realized we missed the production side of the industry.
So we made the daring move to start our own cattle business in southeast Kansas, while also starting our family.
Watch our story and the stories of other young Kansas food producers at kansaslivingmagazine.com/meetafarmer.
The Kansas Wheat Innovation Center in Manhattan is rediscovering ways to get improved varieties and new genetics in the hands of farmers faster. Grower-led and checkoff-funded research initiatives are bringing about positive change. This grassroots leadership provides a strong voice in Topeka and Washington, D.C. Now is the time to partner with Kansas Wheat in moving wheat forward. Kansas Wheat Commission and Kansas Association of Wheat Growers. Farmers investing in their future and yours. Log on to rediscoverwheat.org.
This segment brought to you by Kansas Soybean Commission. Progress powered by Kansas farmers.
So we just watched the Kansas Senate debate Senate Bill 32. They went to final action this evening and passed the bill 28-11. That's a great victory for Kansas farmers and ranchers and allows Kansas Farm Bureau to take the next step, which will be action in the House committee. We're not sure what committee will be assigned, but that'll be determined in the next several days. This is exciting news and a great opportunity for the next step in this journey on Senate Bill 32, which is a measure designed to create affordability and options for Kansas producers and members of Kansas Farm Bureau in healthcare coverage. So we're looking forward to what happens next and to continuing the discussion with the Kansas legislature. We ask our members across the state who have said for a couple of years that they needed this option and the opportunity for more affordable options for health coverage. So about 75 folks came from all over Kansas just to share their stories with their members of the Senate to say, this is how this issue affects me on my farm. Lots of folks will tell you in Kansas that 30 to 40% of their annual income is consumed by paying for health coverage costs and for between premiums and deductibles, that's eating up that much of their family income. So it's making it hard to continue coverage and forcing folks to make really hard decisions about where they're going to obtain coverage or if they're going to have coverage for their family at all. So those folks came in today and spent the day in the Capitol building in Topeka talking with legislators and making the point that this is an important issue that matters and it directly impacts rural Kansas, rural families, rural hospitals, and their ability to stay on their farms and ranches and continue to produce food, fuel, and fiber that goes around the world. So the action shifts from the Senate now to the House. It is important that House members now begin to hear from members of Kansas Farm Bureau, from farmers and ranchers, why this matters, why it's important. So I would say the easy action step is to begin to talk to members of the House of Representatives as they're home in the districts over the next couple of weeks and let them know your story and talk about why this measure and why the unaffordable nature of the current options that are available in health coverage is making it hard for your family to stay on the farm and share that story of what Senate Bill 32 can do to help you and your family.
Closed captioning brought to you by Ag Promo Source. Together we grow. Learn more at agpromosource.com.